What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I hope everybody's having a great day. Folks, we're going to do a video on Mars. Now, somebody had come to me and said, hey, Chris, have you seen Joe from Our Alien TV, his latest video? And no, I haven't, to be honest with you. So I went and checked it out. Really, really cool stuff. Let me show you what we're talking about. Now, folks, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, go to his channel. It'll give you more viewing pleasure, if you will. Good guy, a friend of mine, does really good work. Go check it out. Let's just jump right into this. I'm going to show you his channel, the video we're going to look at, and then we're going to go ahead and break this photo down. Let's just get into it. All right, you can see right here, this is Our Alien TV, and Joe is his name. Does a really good job with his stuff. And you can see right here, his latest one was 5 days ago, so it is in fact 5 days. Mars structure found, AI confirms giant planet. So he has a couple topics within this video, right? Okay, the video we're talking about is right here. Mars structure found again. AI confirms giant planets. Now, I did watch this video. It's really, really good. When you see what he's showing here, you can see on the hillside, there's these two intrusions of what he believes to be structures, right? He's also made a gigapan, so kudos to him. Thank you, Joe, for doing this. And you can see it right here. It was last updated 2nd of May, 2025. It's decent size, 88 megapixels. And you can see these two. There's one on the left here and one in the center of this hillside, if you will. And he breaks this thing down really, really well. What I did, after seeing what he did, I started going into the foreground, see if anything was there. Once I started seeing the stuff that was on the ground, I couldn't help but to go up to those things as well. Let's just get this thing kicked. I want to show you this. This is wild. And the question would be, is Joe's thoughts spot on? I believe they are. Again, let's just jump right into this. Okay, so let's just go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to show you just a couple little things that caught my eye. Now, all I did with this right here was actually just make it a little bit clearer. Use the burn tool slightly on it. Now, folks, just this stuff alone. Okay? We're just going to take a quick look at some of these things. And as usual, folks, pause this anywhere you like. Have a look. Now, this I thought was just simply straight across, like this bottom layer. And at first, when I did see this, I was like, okay, here's the bottom layer. And then you've got what looks like just a simple top layer. And that's what it looked like at first. So as I started to break this down, it actually has a broken part to it, like a design. Still flat, still two layers, but it's split. It looks like almost like a 70-30 kind of thing going on, right? Now, little things really started to pop out. Okay? This area right here. Now, if you notice, I'm going to zoom into this as well. When you look at the actual area, it's not just a stone laying on the ground, right? And the reason why I say that is because there's a circle, there's a square, there's a rectangle, all in one area. See this? I'm going to zoom into it a little bit further. Check this out. It's almost like they're broken apart parts laying on the ground, and this is what we're seeing, okay? Move over a little bit. When I saw this, like I said, I was just like, wow, look at all some of this crazy stuff in here. Just some of the shapes. It could be just simple rocks in some of these things, and some things not so much. Like, the second you start to slightly burn this stuff, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'll go ahead and circle this right here. But I know you guys, your eyeballs are wandering. If you didn't see it yet, check this out. This is wild. Now, here we call it a wrench. In the UK, they call it a spanner. Watch this thing. We're going to slide over to the left over to here. Folks, get a look at this thing. It looks like a box wrench on one side and an open end on the other side. Let's see. Right on here. Right here. Do you see that? See the blur, that weird speckly over it? That is what the manipulation was. Try to drag it through the manipulation. In fact, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to do the stock photo. Go back to the stock. It's still there. You can see it. You can see the outline of this thing. There's the center right there. Well, we call it the box end. Now I'm going to clear it up a little bit. Yep. Clear it up. You can start to see that right there. That to me is absolutely crazy. Check that out. Stuff laying on the ground. And again, folks, just go ahead and pause this anywhere and look at some of the weird little pieces laying on the ground, things with holes in it. little squares that have like these little center designs, like this one here. Okay. Straight pieces right there. Yeah. But it's all over this foreground. Just random stuff, just laying around on the ground. Look at this wild stuff right here. When I saw this, it's right in the middle of the screen, right? We're going to go ahead and circle this. And it's weird. It has like this weird opening. It looks like it comes up like this here. Now, we're going to go from the right over the top and to the left on this. And notice the circle that's on the left-hand side of this as well. Right here, it just doesn't make sense. Oh, that's not very straight, but you can go around, I should say. But you get the idea. Just some of the things in there, folks, it just doesn't add up, okay? Okay. See that? And that's just, I'm just doing random things here, folks. There's much more in here. Now, when I started looking at that, I couldn't help but to go to the top. I had to go to these things. What I noticed was, like I said, just the clarity of some of these things is just weird. Like, I can zoom into this, and I can still see this one part, what looks like a pipe. And when you see it, at first you go, I'm really not seeing the pipe. You will. In fact, it goes from this whited area sticking out to the back. Look at the shape of it. Okay? See the pipe. You can see what looks like the end, and what you're doing is you're looking inside of it. Right about here. See that? Clear it up. Okay, now you should see it a little bit clearer. All right, let's start breaking this photo down. I'm going to go down to here. Okay. Notice now we're starting to bring out these other lines. Especially these here. On the top, you can see these straight lines. Right here on the top. And then you can see, look at the design of whatever this is here on the lower part. Okay. Especially this area, which I find really interesting. And I'm going to show you something that's pretty wild. Because once we get rid of this line and then go back to the raw photo, it's still there. You can still see those lines. In fact, I'm going to clear it up a little bit. See that? You can still see those lines. This is the raw photo right there. And again, these right here. I'm going to bounce over to here and have a look at this. Clear it up a little bit. I think what a lot of people do not see, and this is crazy too, this right here, I'm going to make an outline of it. I'm going to try to follow it as close as I can because it is kind of jagged in certain spots. But check this out. Up. Looks like it's doing this. Okay. This is not actually material. It's literally manipulation. It's censoring. Now, let's get into this a little bit more. Okay. Now, check this out. I tried to do my best. Anything that was a lighter color, I use the dodge tool on. And you can see right here, perfectly straight line, by the way, coming like this, goes across just a little bit. It doesn't go the whole length of this, but it comes like this and goes like this. The white to the right of that yellow line, as well as everything above, is the actual object, not the black or anything like that. I see strewn around equipment. Have a better look now. Looks like framework. Look right here. Even this so-called block, there's something on top of it. But you can see that. These little pots over here on the ground to the right and just slightly lower. Notice the round circles, what look like little squares, all kinds of little weird things like that inside these circles. Check this thing out. Right here, almost looks like a rectangular area. Comes across like this from right to left. Comes down, goes like this. There's a black circle right there, a bigger one, and a small one to the bottom of it. Let's keep going. Okay, check that out. Now, there is the full enhancement in this area. Okay, I'm seeing that something came in from this direction, right about here, Okay? Hit it with a bomb or something, and notice how the debris comes flying out of that area onto the ground. We can say the same thing about the one on the left. Again, we can see like it looks like it comes in from this weird angle, blows it to pieces, and scatters it all over the ground in that same angle. You see that? Notice how both objects are the same as far as the way they got hit. Maybe even at a lower angle, but you can see the way the debris pretty much comes out almost the same direction. The one on the left comes out a little bit more to the right, towards the front, while the other one's more front coming down the hill. But you can see that. That, to me, indicates that it was hit by a bomb or something. So what we're seeing here, I think Joe is absolutely correct. I think these are structures, and I do actually believe that all in between these two objects, I believe they're connected. I think this is one big structure, and we're seeing bits and pieces of it, like what looks like framework or machinery or something of that sort. Zoom into this. Look at some of the details on this, folks. Notice how this comes up from the back, right here, goes over and comes back down, and then these objects are sticking out of it to the left. And there is something in here that is absolutely white. Again, it's like kind of like the same thing as the moon. They're covering everything up, and you get bits and pieces of the actual object, usually in white in color, because they like the black and white everything, right? All right, check this out. Folks will love this. Again, it shows more detail when you put it into Photoshop. This object right here. What is that right here on the hillside? It looks like, could be like rebar or something like that. It's just really, really bizarre. All right, let's enhance it and highlight it. Folks, what are we looking at here? That to me is crazy. I'm going to back out a little bit. Check this out. That doesn't look natural, okay? So we're going to do the full enhancement right now. Back over to the other side. And I'm going to show you something else that's pretty interesting. Okay, there we are. Yeah, all that is dark gray is actually covering something. It could be bits and pieces of structures. Things on the ground here. Look in the front, all the way down to the lower right corner. Parts. Debris. Stuff that's been exploded. Check that out. Just weird, weird stuff. So now I'm going over this photo. I decided to go way on the other side here. And I was looking at this piece here. I don't know if you guys can see this. Very, very faintly, I just happen to look and I see this oval outline of this object. And I'm like, what could this possibly be? Right here. Just going to go around it. Zoom into it. You can see where it kind of comes up. Right here. Comes around. Goes like this. And of course, there's rocks or something in front of it. It has this, looks like openings here. Almost looks like it does this. Now, of course, that's sloppy, but you get the idea. Okay? Now let's enhance it. Okay? Folks, you can see the outline of this thing pretty darn clearly. See it? What that thing is, I don't know. Is it a small structure? And the way it's laying, right on the hillside, and it's almost perfect. It's not like it's off slanted to the side. It's just there. See? I think it's pretty wild. It almost looks like some kind of weird structure, some kind of machine. I don't even know. Pure speculation. Okay? I'm going to show you this right here, and then I'm going to show you something interesting even Joe brought up. I thought was really cool. Zoom into this again. This just happens to be on the hillside. Look at the shape of this thing. It almost looks like a rebar kind of thing, and it's kind of like up like a hump type thing, and then in the back it does the same thing. It's interesting to say the least. That doesn't look like a regular rock formation. If not sure what it is, but it just happens to be on the side of a hill. Here. Bounce over to the other side. Again, look at the little features, including that little pipe I showed you at the top of this thing, top left. Really, really cool. Okay. Now, Joe mentioned something about the background to the right. And I couldn't agree with him more. He said it looked like some kind of dried up riverbed or something along the line. You can see this right here. There's also another one. Looks like it comes out of the hillside on the left-hand side. Now, you notice I did keep his watermark because, again, he gets credit for this as well as the Gigapan. So, again, once again, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Now, let's do this. It gets crazy. Now, you already seen the other two pieces. Check this out. I believe that a lot of this is, in fact, pixelation, but is all of it pixelation? I don't know. But it's so far in the background, you're not going to get much detail anyway. But check that out. I think it's pretty cool. I believe this area here, all of this right here, could very well be structures in the background. And I believe it's mixed in with pixelation. So what I did on this photo right here, and you notice how it's either extremely black or it's extremely white, right? All I did on this photo is equalize it. Notice how the white areas really came out white, right? Let me show you something. The areas that were manipulated and censored are completely blacked or whited out. Notice that. See that? Same thing with the one in here. Same exact thing. Why do you suppose that is? The areas they don't want you to see, oh, it's completely white over here in the foreground of it. This thing on the hill. Can't even see it almost. All the areas we just looked at that they don't want us to see, including this little oval piece that's supposed to be right here. And you can see that. See that? Notice that. Check that out. They don't want you to see it. They're going to do everything they can to either contrast it out, whether it's making it darker or making it brighter. Nowhere to be found. Hidden. There's a lot, and I mean a lot, of censoring going on in this photo. Folks, I'm going to let you see this as a whole right here. All right, let's bring this in right about there. Okay, here's the whole photo. Folks, to me, this is just absolutely crazy. And we're going to look over here to the right. It does look like a riverbed or roads, whatever it may be. Just pause it right here and have a look. Now bounce it back to the enhanced photo. Right there. And there you go, folks. Folks, I think Joe was spot on. I think those two areas are either part of a much larger structure in that whole area, and it's not a hillside. What I may differ a little bit on him is that they may be more machines. They seem to have pipes or some kind of weird things coming out of them. Framework. Looks like they've been hit by a bomb or something, and you can see the debris coming out. And it seems like it's not on the whole area. It just seems like in one corner of each of these objects, right? Is it possible it's natural? But you would have thought the whole thing would have shook apart and just fell in every direction. And we don't see that. But I think he's spot on. Either parts of a structure, machinery, whatever it may be. And I do believe it connects. Because in the middle of that, you can see like bits and pieces of like straight lines, circles, and stuff like that, which would indicate to me that this is one big piece. When we go to the foreground or the bottom of the photo, you can see what looks like these weird things, like round circles with squares right next to it, and then it's on something rectangular. This is not usually what you see on a barren planet that had zero life. As far as microbial, that's a possibility, or macro, that's a possibility even. But if you look around slowly, pause it anywhere where I showed you that foreground, there's a lot more squares and these weird circles and different shapes you shouldn't see. Now, is it possible Mother Nature can make some of these? Absolutely. But as far as like a circle and a square right next to it on a rectangle, no. I don't believe that for a minute. I absolutely believe that that's intelligently made, just like all the other things. Like the two objects, the object on the hill, which is really weird, That would tell me that that hillside is not a hillside. There's something protruding out of whatever that is, either structure or some kind of machine or some mechanical object, we'll call it. Then you got the oval pot, perfectly just kind of sitting on the ledge right there. Kind of strange, right? And what may or may not be what looks like structures way in the background. It's hard to tell. Anyway, folks, drop your comments down below. Let me know what you see. I'm just curious. I'm sure you guys will find a lot more crazy stuff than I pointed out. And don't forget to like and share the video. Always appreciate it. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, as always. And, folks, we do have some crazy stuff coming up. He has mentioned something about another moon. We're going to get into that. Mars, moon, another object coming up. Just crazy stuff. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Always appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.